Hello! Today, we put this small block Chevy that we've been assembling for about 3 weeks now, finally, in our car. So if that sounds interesting, stick around. Before we install the engine, we have a few last minute things to take care of. The only parts we technically need to install are the flywheel, the clutch, and the pressure plate. The remainder of the parts, the exhaust, the intake manifolds, and the distributor, are simply much easier to install with the engine on the stand. All right, now they're all on the same page, let's get to work. We're gonna start off by opening some packages because we have some more parts. Okay, here's what we have. Clutch kit. There's a flywheel in that box over there. That's important. These are our valve covers too. They're sitting right there. I think there's 2 of them there. I'm not really sure. I have an air cleaner as well. We got our intake gaskets, which is important because the ones we had before were wrong. We have a carburetor gasket. We have a carburetor stud mounting kit. We have stickers. Always need stickers. I don't know what happened to it, but I just had it. Here are exhaust gaskets, and we have our rocker arm nuts here, the poly locks, which is going to be important because our solid flat tap, it wants a specific amount of lash. This is the best way to adjust them. And we got bolts for our flywheel and our pressure plate and everything else. So we got all of our clutch parts. Everything's happy there. So yeah, and we still have our distributor we have not installed yet. We have a fuel pressure regulator, and we got some fittings for the carburator. So we're doing well. I think we're going to start by installing the intake and the distributor. I'm going to check and make sure we got the right clutch kit first. Make sure this input shaft alignment tool matches the input shaft on our transmission. So let's do that first. It looks about right. It looks pretty good. That's not good. Oh, that's the piston from our slave cylinder that just fell out. Yeah, that's not ideal. But I guess we'll worry about that later. Our input shaft does indeed match our little alignment tool. So we have the right clutch kit. Everything should be happy there. Apparently we now need a slave cylinder because that piston just fell out of the slave cylinder. But that's not a huge deal. It's pretty easy to install out of the car or in the car once everything's installed. Not a big deal. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set this piston to top dead center. That way when we put the distributor in later, it will actually be set properly, it won't be 180 out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch these 2 lifters right here, and when they're both down, but the mark on the balancer lines up with the timing pointer, then we know we'll be in the right orientation. They're both up. Oh, my help. I gotta push them back down. Both down. You can actually turn this back a little bit. Okay. So we can see here that our mark lines up perfectly, and both of these are down, which means we're on the compression stroke. So then when we set our distributor in, we'll set it so that the rotor is pointing right at cylinder number 1, and that's going to be the next one that's going to fire, and that'll let us get our base timing pretty close. That's really hard to do without push rods with the intake on. We don't have push rods. We did it before we put the intake on, so we'll be good. Probably gonna give it another wipe down because it's been sitting here for a couple days. We're gonna throw the intake on, then we'll throw the distributor in, and we'll go from there. So here's our tech tip for doing intake gaskets on these big China wall segments here. We are not gonna use the actual China walls they send us. We're gonna put a fat bead of regular RTD silicone. Those regular China wall things, the inserts they give you, they always leak. So we just put a big fat 1/4 inch tall bead on both of those of silicone, and we're set. All right, we're gonna put some Permatex on this just to hold the gasket in place, and then we'll do our silicone, and we'll smack our gaskets in there, and then we'll drop our intake on. Going in with the intake.
Now what can I do with this?
All right, intake is on. We're gonna drop our distributor in. I don't know exactly where the best spot to put that is. Down inside there's a shaft that goes down to the oil pump, and it's got a flat blade that it accepts. If you look at the bottom of the distributor here, how it has that flat blade, that's what drives the oil pump. So that we have to now turn to get it to clock properly with the mesh of the cam and line everything up where we need it to be for our motor to sit where we want, and a longer flathead. There we go. We'll put our tie down in there. No way. Well, cover doesn't clear our alternator. That's crazy. All right, tech tip for starting studs.
Okay.
Take two nuts and you tighten them against each other like that. You can use it to run a stud down with a wrench. And then when you're done, you just loosen them up and you're good to go. That way you can get it nice and tight.
Yeah.
And still be able to get it off. Yeah, this will not fit. Our carburetor is the wrong shape. And it looks like that's not really gonna fit either. Oh, because that stud's fucking bent. Our intake manifold here is set up for a spread bore carburetor, which is obvious because of the different sizes of bores. I guess I didn't think about it, but our Holley 750 square bore is not going to fit. So we're going to shop around for an adapter. The other update we've got is we managed to get this bracket to fit. This stud is actually a little bit bent, but it's fine. It's holding on nice and tight. So that's some extra support for our somewhat weak AC compressor bracket here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to throw our motor mounts on, and then we are going to start working on our exhaust manifolds. Brand new O-ring for our drain plug. It's like a $2 O-ring. Life's fucking expensive right now. Here we go.
Now exhaust. Your banging hammer?
Sure. Alright. There we go, I got that thing off. Alright, now we're gonna do the other side.
I win a surprise.
Surprise! It's bedtime!
Yay!
Alright, we got our block off plate for our fuel pump that we're never going to use. So we just got to clean this up, find some bolts that fit. And then we have a gasket in one of our old gasket kits. I know we do, I saw it. And so we'll use that to seal it up. We're good. We do need to still clean that off a little bit, but we're good enough for now. For now, we're going to focus on finding boltices that are the right thread pitch and, in theory, the right length. Could be easier said than done. Just one example of what we're trying to do to stay super cheap. We're just using hardware from a bucket. It's not exactly the most ideal, but it's going to work fine. It's not structural anyway. Not holding any real pressure. Just keeping back some oil splashes from leaking out. So it's going to be okay. And we have Permatex, so what could possibly go wrong when you have Permatex? Now ideally, you put an O-ring on this. RTB. And it's going to set for long enough, it's not going to matter. We're not going to get anything in the oil pan. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to pull this thing off the engine stand here. And we're going to put the new pilot bearing in. And then the flywheel and the clutch, all the clutch things. And then we're also going to change this thing here over yonder. The throwout bearing in that thing, because it's gross. And then we're going to throw it in. I don't know if we're going to get to that today, but we'll get in that direction. So, here we go. Before we take it off the engine stand, we did get a bunch of these little brass freeze plugs, or I don't know, pipe plugs, for all of our EGR ports, so that they don't just spew exhaust gases everywhere. So we're going to sit and get those all started. Fuck Lowe's. I went and bought 4 of these, well not these, socket head screws so I could thread them into this. And this one happens to be a metric thread, metric size head on it. But it was in the same package as the standard 1/4 20. Those aren't 1/4 20. Whatever size they are. It was in the same package as them. I think they're 7/16, 18, something like that. Same package. The hell? May seem silly, but run these suckers down as far as you can. Because you want to get as tight to the engine as you possibly can with the cherry picker hook. That way you have the fewest hood clearance issues. And we're not taking that hood off again. I guess we could, but I'd rather not. And yeah, you can. It's good. Get on that. You should get right on that. Why is it doing that?
What? This?
Turn the engine 180 degrees.
With those tires pulling me off. It's fire.
Today's tech tip. We need to get that pilot bearing out. And we're going to use the greatest shop tool of all time. A hot dog bun. Just wait. We're going to use the bread as a hydraulic press to press this bearing out. So you get a socket that's the right size to fit pretty tight as you can manage. Can't be super tight, you don't want it to bind at all, but you want it to be tight enough that you don't have a lot of extra space. And you stuff it full of bread, any bread. I wouldn't use a bagel, probably a little too tough. I mean, maybe you could. And you take your socket and you stick it in there, and you take your big ass hammer and you hammer it. And then you just rinse and repeat until you run out of bread, or until the bearing comes out. Now, the biggest problem you'll have with your socket is there's a hole in the middle of it. So you take yourself an extension, and it doesn't quite fit, but you're gonna, oh shit. You're gonna use the extension to basically hammer it. That way you're covering the hole. You're not letting all the bread press through the socket. bet you, if you've never done that before, your mind is probably blown right now. But that shit works.
Right.
And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than buying a puller tool. So there you go. There's your tech tip for the month. When you're installing your new pilot bearing, make sure you do it the right way. Don't put this end out. Put this end out. Bad things can happen. Wow, we cannot get the thing in there straight. I don't want to be doing that. I already fucked it up. Shit.
You already fucked it up?
I think I may have.
Shit.
Fuck! Alright, we fucked up the pilot bearing. So we're gonna have to get a new one. So we'll be back tomorrow with a new one. Alright. Got it in and it's completely bound up. I fucked it up. How is this possible? Alright, here's our big ass brake rotor. Come on, go on the fucking car. Couldn't tell you why, but ARP sent us with some assembly lube for these. So we'll probably use it just because. There might even be torque specs. We might even read them. I'm really kind of pissed off about my pilot bearing. But we're gonna fucking just ignore it and it's gonna be fine. It's only gonna matter at idle anyway. It's not like it's gonna blow up while we're sending it. It's probably exactly what's gonna happen. Do not use washers. 85 pound-feet. Alright, get a torque wrench. 70. 75. It may only go up to 80. It does. So 80 is gonna be good enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back around. Alright, we're good. Alright, now we get our pressure plate and our clutch plate. And make them make love. Okay. You can't just leave those sitting around everywhere. Alright, we're gonna get somewhere around 40 foot-pounds. It's always good to do these gradually. Just do these a little bit at a time. Okay. God damn it.
You can't hold it by yourself.
Alright, and you know you've done it right when you can pull this out and stick it back in. And pull it out and stick it back in. It's okay if it's a little tight, but you want it to be able to slide pretty easily. Let's see if I can climb in there without hurting myself too badly. Okay. That thing was making some serious noise.
What?
That one hopefully will be nice and quiet. Okay. Oh man, I really hope we don't take this hood off. Here.
I think so. Bam.
Spring.
We're not doing it right?
No, I said if it's not scary, you're not doing it right.
Get it right?
Not necessarily.
Oh.
Inside of this shit.
This is hot.
Watch what's going on. Watch what's going on.
bike too. Whee!
We're getting really close. Transmission's about as high up as it can go. It's bottomed on the firewall there, but we're gonna come down with the engine a little bit. We got a little bit more room here. I'm gonna try to get it all in the right spot. Oh shit, we left that fucking alignment tool in there, didn't we? That's gonna make things hard. Here. We finally got it in. Our motor mount bolts are just started. They're not actually tight at all, and we have no bell housing bolts in the engine at all. But it is in the car. The input shaft is started. Everything is happy. When we start working on it next week, we're going to put some wheels on it. Currently we're missing one back there, so we'll smack another wheel on it that'll actually hold air, and we'll push it around to the lift, put it up in the air, and that'll help us put those bell housing bolts in better. So our goal for this week was to get the engine installed. Here it sits, installed. So we are doing pretty well. We've got other parts and things and doodads and whatnot we got to hook up still. I have parts that are ordered. The wiring is kind of a mess. We're not really sure what works and what doesn't. I don't know how to get the throttle linkage to work. There's a lot left to figure out, but we got it in. So hopefully we can hear it make noise next week, and then potentially drive it soon. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you don't do anything that I did with a pilot bearing. You can use the bread trick to take it out, but like don't pay any attention to how I install it, because I fucked up 3 of them. And I just gave up and said, fuck it, we're just gonna run with one that's fucked up. Sometimes doing shit the cheap way is more expensive. But that'll be fine, it'll just make noise. It definitely won't seize to the input shaft and break our transmission. Definitely won't do that. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time. Hope you enjoyed. Post a comment, leave a like, do all the things. You know the things. Do the things. And we'll see you next time.